Let me go.
Today's topics, today's chapters. So I figured we do 36 and 37 since
Okay.
36 is about Esau's lineage. It's not that much to talk about,
Okay.
although it does raise some questions. But chapter 37, I think, is probably where we'll spend most of our time.
Okay.
Yeah. But what's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Verses and Vibes with Thinker and Bash. Bash had a birthday this weekend, y'all.
I did. I did.
Yeah. And we got to me and my daughters got to go down. I missed the whole birthday party.
Well, you caught the end of it. It was the party part. You just missed the
I missed
listening
the
part.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um that like I love my daughters. They're in their phase of drama queens.
Am I the drama?
Yes. And I kept trying to like make sure that I'm cool because I don't like traveling with people in bad moods. So I'm just every time they would do something that made me like want to be like, what are you doing? I would have to sit there like this and just look. Like she my youngest daughter, she's 19, she was hungry, right? So we're like an hour and 15 minutes away.
Okay.
It's already 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
And so she wanted to stop and get something to eat. And I was like, okay, I need to fill up the tank. So we stop at a rest stop, get some Subway.
Okay.
She's like, I want to drive the rest of the way. So she hops in the driver's seat as we're walking out the store. She's sitting, we all in the car, and she's sitting there and she wants to eat one half of her Subway sandwich before we pull off.
Okay.
And Bash, like she's eating and she's going like this as she eats. And I'm like,
We got to get going.
I want to say, if you don't drive this car, I just looked at her. I was like, you do realize what time it is, right? Like, we still have an hour and 15 minutes to go. And
Yeah.
she's like, I haven't ate all day, Mama. I just want to eat this half. And I was like, hurry up and swallow. Hurry up and swallow. And then we get pulled over by the state trooper
Oh
because
wow.
the passing, like left lane
Oh yeah.
passing law, didn't we didn't know because we don't have to do that in Nashville.
In the city, you don't have to do that. That's something that I had to learn too. I got pulled over like that one time. That the left lane is only for passing.
Like I was in my head trying to figure out like so people who are speeding and going past the speed limit get the right of way. Like even
Yeah.
if you're driving speed limit, you still are in the wrong. And so he gave her a written warning, right? Why he tell her it's gonna stay on her record for 3 to 5 years, and she's like falling apart. And I'm telling her, I'm like, it's a warning.
Just a warning.
And she was like, but I want to fight it. I want to fight it. It's going to stay on my record for 3 to 5 years. I said, you don't live in Alabama.
Yeah.
She's like, but
And how do you fight a warning?
it's because he made it a written warning. So I don't know if it's he told her to be on her record, but he cited her for unlawfully operating a vehicle. And I'm like, how? That's not the same thing as like
Driving in the fast lane.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Does she have a court date?
no, she doesn't
No.
have a court date. No, I had to like calm her down. She was in a bad mood after that, but everything was good. And then she said, well, as soon as I walked in, I saw Bash's pink beard, and I was like, ooh. She said, I'm going straight to him. She said, I went straight to him. Because we walked in, we was like, where the hell is this girl at? And she was already with you. It's like
That she did walk straight up to me. She really did. And I was like, you must be Thinker's daughter. You guys are I am convinced that Thinker had that baby without a man involved. That baby looks just like her. Like this.
I don't see it.
Okay. Just because you can't see your face like I can. But yeah, she looks just like you.
She is a trip, but yes, they had a lot of fun and they loved the album. So I thank you and Mama Bash for the invite.
Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we had a lot of
Good
fun.
times. Good times.
Happy to see the Nerd and Fishton family in the chat today. What's up, Celeste? What's up, TT? What's up, Heshama? Hey, Mama Bash. Um, huh?
I just saying, hey, bro.
Yeah. What's up, Fee? Okay, y'all. So today we are digging into the Esau lineage. and figuring out today why God hates the Edomites. I don't think we'll figure that out because I don't think he ever really says why. Does he ever really say why he hates the Edomites?
Not really. No, I'm not. At least not in this chapter. Maybe something else like happen later on that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but not that I can think of.
Yeah, it's just weird. But yeah, oddly enough, the jealousy between Esau and Jacob is the same as with Isaac and Ishmael,
Hmm.
Cain and Abel.
Hmm.
And then we're going to see Joseph and his brothers. God doesn't like brothers to get along.
They don't rock very well together. David
TikTok
and
is
his
back
brother.
up.
Is it back? I had got a what you call from TikTok earlier. Hold on, it can't be back up.
It's not. It's
Hold
coming
on.
back up. It literally is. Like before, it was just a black screen. Now I'm getting that TikTok is not available message. It's not back up. Oh, it's not back up for me. Oh shit,
No,
it
it
is
ain't up
back
for me.
up. I can see my
It popped up.
comments. It is coming back up. I can see my comments. It's back. It is completely back.
They ain't made it back for me yet. But
Holy shit. I can go live. Oh, the Christians gonna be mad now. No. you
oh,
know
we're
how
back, bitches.
you know how much time I've spent on getting the YouTube together to where I can stream on YouTube, take guests, do
Yeah.
all that stuff, and making it feel like TikTok for TikTok to just come back today. And all I gotta do is launch TikTok Studio now.
Well, I just had a whole little chat about why it just wasn't gonna last long. I just had this chat, and so I'm glad to be vindicated as right. I hope it's back, and if it is, I told y'all, I tried to tell y'all.
And I said that he wasn't gonna let it happen because let it stay down because he wants people to watch the inauguration. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that ego of his. Like it's like how are they gonna watch me? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then I honestly think Meta is getting ready to like merge to some degree with it. I think the deal that they struck is that Meta's gonna own a big portion of it. Um,
There's gonna be a lot of people that own a piece of it, and I'm gonna tell you some details about that when we get off here. But
okay.
but but know that music is very important in this deal. It's very important in this deal, and I tell you,
Music is
music is
wow,
very important.
wow. So 9 times out of 10, it's not going anywhere.
Uh,
It's here to stay.
oh no. Well, Thinker said hers is up and running, but don't talk to me while we're recording this.
Tell mom I said hi.
Yeah, I think so. Well, maybe not tomorrow, but Thinker says hello. Now y'all talking like we on the phone. Get the hell. Okay. Yeah.
That's my mama now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Y'all ain't finna
Yeah.
be yelling through the phone. Like y'all ain't finna do it on this podcast yelling. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All righty. Okay, so actually we're gonna start with chapter 36.
Okay.
All right. These are the descendants of Esau, that is Edom. Esau took his wives from the Canaanites, Ada, daughter of Elon the Hittite, Oholibamah, daughter of Anna, son of Zibeon the Hivite, the base math, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Naboah.
Okay.
Ada bore Eliphaz to Esau. Base math bore Reuel, and Oholibamah bore Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau who were born to him in the land of Canaan. Then Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and all the members of his household, his cattle, and all his livestock, and all the temporary and all the property he had acquired in the land of Canaan, and he moved to a land some distance from his brother Jacob, for their possessions were too great for them to live together. The land where they were staying could not support them because of their livestock. So Esau settled in the hill country of Seir. Esau is Edom. These are the descendants of Esau, ancestor of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Ada, the wife of Esau; Reu, the son of Esau's wife Basemath. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatham, and Kenaz. Tema was a concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son. She bore Amalek to Eliphaz. These were the sons of Ada, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Reuel, Naab, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Esau's wife, Oholibah.
Aholibah.
Olaba. What?
Aholibah? Is it a? Is it
Ahol, aho, aho, Aholibama.
Aholibama? Yeah.
Aholibama, daughter of Anah, son of Zibeon. She bore to Esau, Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. Was that a freaking repeat? Didn't I just read that?
Okay. No. Well, we read it up a little higher. Yeah, I think. Yeah. We just talked about who Aholibah had. I think.
Yeah. These are the clans of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz. Do you want to skip these?
No, no, no. Because I
Okay.
want to talk about it in just a second.
Okay. These are the clans of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau, the clans: Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These are the clans of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. They are the sons of Ada. These are the sons of Esau's sons, Reuel, the clans Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the clans of the Reuel in the land of Edom. They are the sons of Esau's wife, Basemath. These are the sons of Esau's wife, Oholibama, the clans Jeus, Jalem, and Korah. These are the clans born of Esau's wife, Oholibama, the daughter of Anah. These are the sons of Esau, that is Edom, and these are their clans. These are the sons of the Seir of the Horite, the inhabitants of the land: Lotam, Shabal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Azer, and Dishon. These are the clans of the Horites, the sons of Seir in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Lotan, where Hori and Heman, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. These are the sons of Shobal, Alvin, Manahath, Ebal, Shepo, and Onam. These are the sons of Zibeon, Aya, and Ananiah. He is Ananiah who this is he is the Anna who found the springs and the wilderness as he pastured the donkeys of his father Zibeon. These are the children of Anna, Dishon, and Aholibama, daughter of Anna. These are the daughters of Dishon, Hemdam, Eshban, Ethran, and Shiran. These are the sons of Ezer, Bilhan, Zavan, and Akan. These are the daughters of Dishon and Uz and Aaron. These are the clans of the Horites, the clans: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishon. These are the clans of the Horites, clan by clan, in the land of Seir. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, reigned in Edom. The name of his city was Dinhabah. Bela died, and Joab, son of Zerah of Basra, succeeded him as a king. Jacob died, and Hushman of the land of Timonites succeeded him as king. Hushman died, and Hadad, son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in the country of Moab, succeeded him as king, and the name of his city being Avith. Hadad died, and Samlah of Masrekah succeeded him as king. Samlah died, and Shaul of Rehoboth on the Euphrates succeeded him as king. Shaul died, and Baal Hanan, son of Akbar, succeeded him as king. Baal Hanan, son of Akbar, died, and Hadar succeeded him as a king. The name of his city being Paul. His wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matrid, daughter of Mizahab. These are the names of the clans of Esau, according to their families and their localities by their names. The clans: Timnah, Alva, Jahath, Aholibama, Eli, Pinom, Kinez, Teman, Mizbar, Magdiel, and Iram. These are the clans: Edom, that is Esau, the father of Edom, according to their settlements in the land that they held. Good grief. I see why people don't. I see why Christians will get to Genesis 37 and be like, I'm done. They'll be like, forget this book.
Yep. People don't. Those are the kind of the boring parts. There's a couple things in this chapter that I did want to kind of chat about though.
Mhm.
One of them being that this is set up like Abraham and Lot, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
setup that says,
Yeah.
remember, because this is why they split up, because they were so wealthy that the land couldn't support them,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
one of them went over here, and then the other one stayed here, right? So this is one of those tropes that I talk about, right? Like so, right? You'll see these common themes in the story. Okay, well, with Abraham and Lot, there are these bad people. They split up, and then the bad ones went over here, right? And they went to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And then Abraham stayed in the good land. And then this one is like, okay, and they went over there with the Canaanites, with the Horites and all them folk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over in Sierra, right? Okay. Um,
So wait, are they setting them up for this is why they're bad? Because I
yes,
did notice that the Amaleks are a part of them.
right. These are all the clans of the Canaanites. Remember, he married these Canaanite women, and well, their mama didn't like Canaanite women. Then he married Hittite women, and right. Okay, so this is kind of like the in a fairy tale. This is the once upon a time in a far distant land, right? So you know I'm trying to set up a fairy tale for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, you got this same little trope at the beginning. Okay, they lived in the same land, but and they grew too rich in that land, and the land couldn't support them. So one of them had to leave, and then the one that left, they picked their own land, and he chose to be over there with them people, right? Um, it, it was a guy in the name Tam. It was a Taman. Is it Taman? Oh, is the Mount? See, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Uh,
Yeah, that was the last one of the last names that we mentioned. Timna.
no, no, not the Timna one. I mean, I know. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. Not
Yeah.
not the Timna one, but there's one of the kids. I think his name is it Timon? Um. Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. Not Timna. We had Mount. Give me just one second. Hold on. I'm gonna look for something. Hold on.
Okay. Hey, Unity. Exactly. Jeffro. Like get to this part of the Bible. You're like, man, like I'm seriously trying like to stay focused on the names. Like and it's just a repeat over and over and over again of the same names. But what I did notice is that Amalek is one of Esau's sons, and I didn't know that before.
Yes, and you see how they run into the Amalekites later on.
Hmm.
Okay, do me a favor. Let's flip over to Habakkuk chapter 3.
Okay.
We're gonna read verses 1 through I want to say 5. Or some people say Habakkuk, but you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. All right. A prayer of the prophet Habakkuk according to Shigionoth.
I
You
think
said
so.
read verses 1 through 5.
1 through 5, yeah.
O Lord, I have heard of your renown, and I stand in awe. O Lord of your work, in your own time revive it. In your own time make it known. In wrath may you remember mercy. God came from Timan, the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. The brightness was like the sun. Rays came forth from his hand, where his power lay hidden. Before him went pestilence, and plague followed close behind.
Okay. Now you can read. A lot of people say a lot of different things about this particular scripture, but the one that says that God came from Timon, the Holy One came from the Mount. I feel like in the King James it say like Mount Sierra, but let me make sure. Let me make sure that.
Here, I can change it to King James and see.
Okay.
Let's see. No, it says Mount Paran.
Mount Paran. Where is Mount Paran?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
Let's see.
I think it's in Edom. I feel like it is. I know Taman is in Edom.
And the Sinai Peninsula?
Okay, look up where Taman is, or Taman, that God came from. Blank. What is that? Taman or Taman?
Oh, it's an area between Mount Seir and Mesopotamia.
Okay, so it is in Edom. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. That this idea that the Holy One is from, like he's saying, hey, I met God. I just heard about you, right? I'm
Mm,
hearing about you. I'm hearing about your wonderful works, and I hear you're from Edom,
mm,
right? So it's a It's a random piece of information there, but it's like, oh yeah, hey, I hear that you're great, and you come down and you bring this, you're great and terrible, and I hear you're from Edom, right? That the Lord came down from Edom through Teman, through that Sierra region. This is all the regions that's been described in Esau's children.
That's interesting. And so, like, which would make sense as to why Job was an Edomite, and he was God's faithful servant. He was the God's most faithful servant,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep. So so there is this
But
weird.
is it Yahweh?
Well, I mean, keep if it says God, that means it's El, right?
Okay, L. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
El came down, right? But keep in mind, depending on when you talking, who you talking to, is this an Elohist? Is this a Yahwist? That can get really sticky. But you see that like there is this weird. That's why you have these duplets, because some people aren't as against the Edomites as others.
Hmm.
Some people think of Esau as our brother. Some people think of Esau as no, he's not. He's the bad one. Like no, right? And so you'll see these different setups depending on what voicing they're coming from, and so you hear these kids get named like 6 times. Like what? Okay, we get it. Oholabah had some babies. Why do you keep saying this? Right?
Hmm. And what's the purpose for them to keep saying it though? Like, because they're trying to let people know that they're family. Oh, you got a call.
Sorry about that. My phone rang, man.
That's okay.
Um,
So
my
what's
bad.
the purpose that they keep repeating it though? To let people, to let the readers know, like, this is our family.
Well, no, no, no. Okay, if it's whenever you run into duplicates like that, it's normally from two separate sources,
Oh, okay. So
right?
this is the
Yes,
JED. Okay.
yes. So
Okay.
one source says it, and another person says, and I really need to go down and sit down and make sure that every name is the exact same. That's the boring part, but you have to make sure that every name is the exact same. Because one of them might go, well, this one, they said that they had this kid, but that's not the kid they had. They had this kid, right? So I need to go and make sure that all those names line up exactly that way. Because sometimes, a lot of times, it'll be a different name in a place. Um, because they have a different recollection of these children's lineage, right?
Hmm.
And their recollection is to tell a specific rhetoric, right? Um, there's a mention that one of these guys was the guy that found the whales. Well, did we hear his name again? I don't know, right? But I'm gonna go back and comb through it, really get into it. But I just say that to say that you see these different relations. Now, there's one story that may prevail, and the story that prevails is that God don't like Esau, right?
Hmm. But he came from Edom.
That prevails that God don't like Esau, and you could tell that because later on you hear Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated, right? So
Hmm.
that becomes like the prevailing story of the thing. But it's not. It doesn't always sit that way. Am I making sense? Because again, a person
Yeah.
goes, "Oh man, Yahweh came from Timon, right? Timon,
Yeah.
right? Oh, Yahweh came from Timon. He's from right out there in Mount Sierra, out there in that area, out in Mount Paran,
That
right?
is so interesting.
Yeah.
What and then why is this, like, this God is always associated with fire and coals? Like it says, before him went the pestilence and burning coals went forth at his feet. Like when Isaiah had the vision of him, he was sitting on a throne with fire around and coal,
Mhm.
burning coals. Like literally, the God is in hell. It sounds like what Christians believe hell is going to be. It sounds like it's the king of fire, like the king of hell.
Well, and you got to think. Okay, so to get into that, before you get to the actual hell piece, you got to think about how these gods were revered. They were gods of like agriculture,
Hmm.
right? And if you live out in the desert where there is some brush, some ways to graze cattle, and so there is grass. You can imagine if that grass dries up, it's hot. Shout out to L.A. You get fires, right? You get brush fires. This is the work of God, right?
Hmm.
Oh, God came and did that, right?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, God comes out of the mountains with fires, right? Remember
Mhm.
the same basic imagery. Oh, Moses went up in the mountains and there was fire, right? Like, so these are people describing, natural occurrences, right? Oh yeah, remember that fire that came to mind? That was God, right? No different than people would be like, oh, remember Hurricane Katrina? That was, right. So, but they're just describing their natural habitat, basically. But yeah,
Okay. Mama Bear said, "Do you have any historical data on the lands that Esau's uh, lineage, his genealogy
yeah,
claims?"
you can hold on. Let me see. Well, I can't really show you on here, but just hold on. If you just go Google like where is Edom, you should get a pretty decent map of where
It's
Edom is.
outside of the Dead Sea, right?
Yeah, yeah, east of the Dead Sea, right? You get a pretty decent map. Then you can look at where's Mount Paran, where's Mount Sierra, right? Just you kind of get a good little range of where those things are.
Yeah, and I know there was I can't remember the Jewish high priest that conquered one of the main cities in Edom and forced them to convert to Judaism, and
Mm.
they did mass circumcisions on them.
Mm.
And I know that that's historical. Like there is archaeological evidence, like
You know when
records
it
and stuff.
was?
It was right. It was when they were fighting against the being Hellenized. So
Oh,
it was
like
he
like
died right
around
before. Oh man, his name starts with an H. Um,
Hove. I'm just
mm-mm.
kidding.
ha, ha, man. Ah, I did a video on him on my page, but he died right before Ananias the third.
Okay, and that's the
Um,
third was in the first century BC.
okay, so it was around that time, like they were fighting against Hellenization.
Okay.
And so he ended up conquering Edom, a major city in Edom, and made them go through like they had like I think like 3 days to leave the area or convert to Judaism. Well, it wasn't
Mm.
called Judaism at that time, but or convert and be circumcised. And then the ones that did not leave and stayed, some of them were just volunteering to be circumcised so they wouldn't go through like the violence of being circumcised.
Yeah.
But they did a lot of um forced circumcisions.
Boy, circumcision is
Hmm.
crazy.
Ain't that crazy? Like how do you hold them down and like what the heck?
Who holding down the meat? That's crazy.
And they said they were violent, like violent forced circumcisions.
Oh my god, that is not the wave, chief.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So like I think another thing that this brings up though is it says that Edom had kings before Israel did.
Yep.
And so Edom or Esau's lineage is reflecting like they had success before Israel did
Yes.
and without the God.
Yes. Or unless
Or at
Yahweh
least
came
like
down from tomorrow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But right now, yeah, without the God on the yeah.
Or we could look at it like the reason why they did the story is saying because the God came from Esau and Jacob them just stole it.
Right. Depending on how you read that Habakkuk verse, right? Because some people like to read it as to say, "Oh, God destroyed Edom," right? He came down through with fire and destroyed Edom.
Mhm.
Some people read it as if it's saying, "No, no, no. This is where we get that tradition from," right? Because you'll remember that even when you get over in Exodus, when Moses is explaining to Ruel, his father-in-law, all the works of Yahweh. Ruel was already a high priest, and he already knew several gods. Like he was very well aware of. Like he wasn't shocked by Yahweh, and he said, "Oh, now I know Yahweh is just the Most High God." Right,
Mhm.
but he was totally okay with there being a Yahweh. Right, like it seemed as if like he didn't learn anything new there, other than that Yahweh had defeated the gods of Egypt. Right, but not they, and he never stopped being. As a matter of fact, he never stopped being a high priest. He never converted per se. He helped Moses establish the judges. Right, but he completely served different gods. Right, and he wasn't shocked by it at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I just looked it up. It was Hyrcanus during the Hasmonean dynasty
Okay.
that
When was that?
That was 125
Yeah,
BCE.
first century BC. Okay, that's what I
Hmm.
was thinking. Oh, that's
Yeah,
second century, almost first century. Okay,
yeah, and it was the Idumeans that that he forced the conversions on.
okay, that means
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I don't know anything else in the Esau story.
No, that's pretty fun.
Okay, all right, let's go to 37. This one is the one that I have questions about.
Okay,
Okay. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And with his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream. When he told it his brothers, am I in the King James? Hell yeah. I'm like, why in the hell can I read? My goodness. Okay. Once Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, listen to this dream that I had. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright. Then your sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to my sheaf. His brother said to him, are you indeed to reign over us? Are you indeed to have dominion over us? So they hated him even more because of his dreams and his words. He had another dream and told it to his brothers, saying, look, I have had another dream. The sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me. But when he told it to his father and to his brothers, his father rebuked him and said to him, what kind of dream is that you have had? Shall we indeed come, I and your mother and your brothers, and bow down to the ground before you? So his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Now his brothers went to pasture to their father's flock near Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, are not your brothers pasturing the flock at Shechem? Come, I will send you to them. He answered, I am. So he said to him, go now, see if it is well with your brothers with the flock, and bring word back to me. So he sent him from the valley of Hebron. He came to Shechem, and the man found him wandering in the fields. The man asked him, what are you seeking? I am seeking my brothers, he said. Tell me, please, when they are pasturing the flock. The man said, they have gone away, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Dothan. They saw him from a distance, and before he came near to them, they conspired to kill him. They said to one another, here comes this dreamer. Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits. Then we shall say that a wild animal has devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. But when Reuben heard it, he delivered him out of their hands, saying, let us not take his life. Reuben said to them, shed no blood, throw him into this pit here in the wilderness, but lay no hand on him, that he might rescue him out of their hand and restore him to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the ornamented robe that he wore, and they took him and threw him into a pit. The pit was empty, there was no water in it. Then they sat down to eat. And looking up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels carrying gum, balm, and resin on their way to carry it down to Egypt. Then Joseph said to his brothers, what profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him, for he is our brother, our own flesh. And his brothers agreed. When some Midianite traders passed by, they drew Joseph up, lifting him up out of the pit, and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they took Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph was not in the pit, he tore his clothes. He returned his brothers and said, the boy is gone, and I, where can I turn? Then they took Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in the blood. They had the ornamented robe taken to their father, and they said, this we have found. See now, whether it is your son's robe or not. He recognized it and said, it is my son's robe. A wild animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. Then Jacob tore his garments and put sackcloth on his loins and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and his daughters sought to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted and said, no, I shall go down to Sheol to my son mourning. Thus his father bewailed him. Meanwhile, the Midianites had sold him to Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. Okay. First question I have when I read this is, how is Jacob mad at Joe? Like, I mean, how is Joseph having a dream about his mama bowing down to him and his mama's supposed to be dead?
She been gone. She been gone. I don't know.
But like, why would Jacob interpret that to be his mama? Like, his did Jacob forget that she was dead?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because that lady gone. That lady, that lady died giving birth to him.
Exactly.
That lady died giving birth to him. Oh no, it was Benjamin. That was Benjamin. She died giving birth to.
Oh, I thought Joseph was the youngest. I thought she died giving birth. Oh no, Joseph is Zilpah's
Yeah,
child. Yeah, but yeah, I know she died giving birth to somebody.
yeah,
But yeah, like she died like 2 chapters ago.
yeah, yeah,
That was last week.
yeah. She just
Yeah,
died
she
last
died
week.
last week.
Yeah,
So what that when I read that I was like, what?
yeah. I think one of the weirdest things about this chapter is that you ever like you know you can't trust somebody when they'll steal something from you and then help you look for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Y'all seen them $20 I had up, man. I help you look, bro. You stole the money, right? You really can't trust that person.
Mhm.
They was trying to comfort their father like they didn't sell him. You get what I'm saying? Like that's just a weird thing. Like that's a weird move to make, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's gonna be all right, man. It's not gonna be all right. You sold him, like, and you made up you dipped a thing in some blood, and you like this is a conspiracy, right? And y'all in here trying to console your father. This is just that's a piece of crazy work. But also,
But he also got what he deserved if you think about it, because they tricked him the same way he tricked his daddy.
yes, that's what I was about to say. Also, you see the dip in something in a ram's blood, right? The idea of like your children to smell like rams. You know what I'm saying? It's that same kind of duplicate thing, right?
Hmm.
That there's a trick. Also, it's a trick that later on in the story you're gonna find out that trick is what puts him in a position to be on top, right? That the same way that in Jacob's case, that trick is the trick that put him on top, right?
Hmm.
The trick that caused him to be the one that's blessed is the trick with the lamb's blood. The well, not they use skins on them, but you get the point. Like they, boom, this is the other son. This is your son, right? This is your son, and so you find that little what do you call it? A motif in this story too, and it explains why there is a half tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh later on. So this little weird story kind of plays into this idea in the North versus the South. That in the North, again, it gets the North ends up being called Ephraim,
Yeah.
right? And so that they were kind of divinely set apart to rule based on this trick that happened, right? And the same thing is how Jacob came to rule, right? The Jacob was divinely picked to rule based on this trick that happened. So just that little motif of happenings.
So like, I wonder if Jesus and the devil are brothers, and Jesus is El's or Yahweh's or whoever, whatever his name is, favorite son, and
Mm,
then the devil is like he got the son that he hates like chained up,
I can see where you go with that. If but before we go that far, hold on. I want to say something.
or the
Isaiah
good son is
63 and
chained
1.
up and the devil is let free. Huh?
I want to go to Isaiah 63 and 1.
Isaiah 63 and 1.
And 1.
Okay.
My mama sent me this and I forgot earlier.
Let's see. Who is this coming from Edom, from Basra, and garments stained crimson? Who is this so splendidly robed, marching in his great might? It is I, announcing vindication, mighty to save.
This is the Savior. This is Yahweh. Where's it coming from again?
Edom.
See? Right. So at least two times, like the God is coming from Edom, right? The God is coming from Taman. The God is. I just wanted to bring that up again. I'm sorry, forgot to say that earlier. All right, but back to what we was talking about. So yes, there's this comeuppance that's based on a trick. There's this like, here is how we get to rule. There's one for Isaac. Then here's one for Ephraim. Well, it ends up being the Ephraim and Manasseh tribes. So you see that motif that keeps happening in these stories. And this is how you kind of like an etiology of like why things are the way they are. That Ephraim wasn't like Ephraim was born. Well, not Ephraim. Joseph was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was always dad's favorite, and
He
blah
was
blah
a
blah.
tattletale.
Yeah, yeah. So somebody add a little dispersion to him, but then overall he's vindicated in the fact that he raises up. He knows how to rule. Like he grew up in Egypt, and he went down as a prisoner, but he worked his way up the ladder, and you get into the Joseph story, right? And that's where the whole Exodus is coming from. Basically, if not for this story, the Exodus doesn't happen at all.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
So this is a setup for this is where Moses come from. This is where like the law comes from. So this chapter, while it is kind of just like a weird little quip of a chapter, actually plays into the whole rest of the book.
I remember us having a discussion about this before, about Romans 9, like how this ties into Romans 9 and Hagar. Like um, uh, we were discussing, how the God didn't stop Hagar and Abraham, like Sarah doing what she did to get
Hmm.
Isaac. And then he didn't stop this, like this was all a part of his plan.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and how like he's absent in this, right? Like he doesn't talk in this. And then Joseph doesn't say, "Oh, I had a dream and God said that y'all gonna be bowed down." Joseph is like, "Y'all gonna bow down to me."
Hmm.
Like there's no mention of the God at all.
Hmm. Hmm. This is just his dream, and I think that's why in the story Jacob was kind of pissy about it. Like like what do you mean we're gonna bow down to you? But like it was just a dream. Like I don't even know how you get mad with somebody if I have a dream. You just had a dream. Right.
Because
Yeah.
they probably like they were already jealous of him because
He
Jacob
had the
was
coat.
favoriting him,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so this is why I say Yahweh doesn't like family.
Mm.
Because Jacob was already he deceived his own brother,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Caused his own brother to be disliked by the God that he actually brought into like he ends up taking over his brother's God. Like this God is just jealous.
Hmm.
Like the whole story, I can't stop thinking about the North and the South and how the North was a more advanced
Hmm.
civilization than the South and how they made up stories about the Davidic monarchy and how they were growing at the same rate as the North, where the whole time the North is growing into like
Leaps and bounds.
agriculture or urban centers,
Yep.
and the South is still these 20 village pastoralists.
Yep. 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 And again, like if you look throughout history, in reality, like one of the most well-known kings historically
Was
is King
Omri.
Omri. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Not David. None of them folk from down the south. Right. Saul.
They
The
said a lot of the in the text, the Davidic, the Solomon's architecture, the buildings that he talked about he
Mhm.
built, they don't exist. They were built during the Omride
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
dynasty.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That Omri is the most well known. He was the most prolific in the land at the time. But keep in mind, he was from Ephraim.
Yeah.
Right. He was from Ephraim. So you know, eh, that's where they built Samaria. Omri built Samaria. Right.
Mhm.
Omri also built, was it Jericho? No, that was during his time though, when they rebuilt Jericho. But I know he built Samaria in another like really big city. And that happened in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I feel like a part of the mythology or the folklore of Judah was to like kind of work their way into that story. You know.
They stole some of it. You know what I'm saying? And then like the way they talked about Jezebel and Ahab, like and demonized them, like it was all jealousy. like if once you learn the actual history behind it, you can see how they demonize the Amorites. Um,
Sorry about that, man. My phone keeps doing some crazy stuff. Yes, but
uh, mm,
they demonize the Amorites, right? Or
mhm,
that in that whole dynasty, right? They make him look crazy, right?
mhm,
They basically say he was wicked. He did it, but really, Amr was out there being successful.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they wanted it,
Yep.
and so and it's like right before they reach full statehood, right? Then the Persians come in, the Assyrians come in and conquer them, and they get deported. And then some of the high ranking religious people escape into the South, and then they start helping the South build the influence that it always wanted. And then you start to see that the South starts to grow into their own little religious epicenter. But the way that it's written, it's like Judah was always
Always on
chosen.
top. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
like and they were the true inheritors, like of what the Amorites had. Like y'all are not supposed to have that. That's our blessing, and
Right.
the reason why y'all are getting conquered is because we are the chosen.
Right.
And
Right.
it's two brothers. Like it's a brother wishing death on another brother because they want. Like it's just
And when you see it play out in history, and then like you go and read, like I'm one of my favorite little like the fact that the woman at the well, the Sumerian woman at the well,
Mhm.
like that story has been told so many times, and people actually disassociate Samaria from Israel, right? It like in folklore, you don't even think of that woman as an Israelite, right? But she
Right.
is
Yeah.
an Israelite, right? She is a Sumerian woman. But by the time you get to the New Testament, it is as if they don't exist to us. They're not us, right?
Hmm.
And but they are very much them, like very much them, you know. So yeah, you see how the folklore kind of grows and grows, and eventually you get to where, oh, no, Samaria just doesn't exist to us, but that's Omri's place.
That's crazy. Like that's why this God's name is jealous. Or
Elkanah.
yeah, because you can see the jealousy all throughout it.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, that was the real theme I wanted to get to in that chapter. I thought that was worthy of note.
One more thing I want to bring up. Well, two more things. So, did you notice how it said it was Reuben's idea to save Joseph,
Mm-hmm.
and then it switches to, oh, Judah did it. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to me, that screams
Redaction.
Yahweh's.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Some kind of way that got redacted. Some kind of way, they tell the part of the story and then they take it, they kind of rewrite it another way. But I think it's the very next chapter. Is it 39? No, what we just read. Was this 38 we just read?
mhm.
I think it's in
No,
39,
this is 30. This 37.
37. Okay, I think it's in 39 where they run Judah through a wall and he just become a hoe bag.
A whole bag. What's a whole bag?
He just sleep with everybody.
Oh,
He just a filthy, freaky frog, right? And
mhm.
so you can see people kind of vying for their space. People are vying for their space in literature. They're trying to figure out like they're politicking here, right? Trying to figure out where they belong in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the whole confusion about, was it the Midianites that did it? Was Did they sell them to the Ishmaelites? Like, did they sell them or did somebody come out and get them? Like, I think that is also them trying to clear, like, there had to have been a story out there already circulating, and then they just came through, a scribe or somebody came through and was like, take this off of Judah, you know, off
Mm-hmm.
of everybody else. It was the Midianites
It was
that
the
came
media.
in and took him out of the brothers didn't get a chance to sell them, or
Right.
did they get a chance to
Did
sell
they
them?
get a
You know what
chance?
I'm
Did they
saying?
sell him? Did somebody come get him out the well? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, it just makes you wonder, like when they were doing the redactions, they just said, "I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna put in what I need. Like I'm not, you know, I don't care if it makes sense."
Yeah, just go for it. Just get it in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Those kind of
But
things you run into when you have those kinds of redactions, because you can't redact the story perfectly, right? So you got some rhetorical goals that you got here, you got some over there, and again, people are trying to vie for like where they fit in the story, right? Like who's the good guy in the story? Who's not the good guy? Is Judah a good guy? Is Reuben the bad guy? Was it what did Joseph do? You know, and then of course if you from Benjamin, you got to redeem that. Like we wasn't bad, da 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 da. And so they kind of fight in the literature for that space.
does this story work against the work? Okay, so basically they're all acting out of free will. The dream doesn't include Yahweh,
Right,
right?
right.
Uh, Yahweh doesn't talk in the story. They're all doing things right on their own. So not necessarily free will, but divine intervention. It feels like divine intervention here is being read into it. Like they're saying, "Oh, this was God's plan," just
Because it happened.
because,
Yeah,
yeah, and because he ended up in Egypt, and then whatever happened in Egypt. But
yeah,
so I didn't like the God is just sitting back letting humans do
yeah,
what they do.
yeah.
But how can he take credit for it if he's not controlling people? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. That's a
Because
good
like
question.
for me, I don't see how free will is like self-agency would even be at play here if this was actually the God's plan when he never speaks, he never guides anybody on doing. This is all human.
Just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But he'll take credit for it later on. But that's because people are writing it. They're writing it. Uh, they're kind of shooing him in, right? Right. Like they're just shooing him in. You know, there is no God to speak of to actually do any of this. They're just putting him in when they think of him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, God said that, or no, God didn't say that. I said that, or whatever. Like, but how do you ever know the difference between what God said and what somebody said?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is one that I have to bring up when I'm on live.
Yeah. It's a good one.
And we were talking yesterday on it was either Ria's live or Meza, somebody's live, Joel's live. Um that somebody didn't know whether that it was Ria's live. The guy that said he has lied before to get a job, right?
Oh, the dude that was saying line is okay if it's your enemy. Was that the same
No,
guy?
that this a
Oh,
different guy. He said
okay.
he lied to get a job, and he said he doesn't know if his manipulative tactics are what caused him to get the job or if it was God. And I'm like, you like the very fact that you don't know the answer to that and you're choosing to say that first he said it was God that blessed him. He said he was blessed. He said God blessed him to get a job despite the fact that he lied on his resume to get the job. And I'm like, well, how do you know that it was God that gave you the job? I mean, you got the job because you fucking lied about your skills. Like you lied about your work history. And he was like, that's true. He was a really honest guy. Not honest. I'm sorry. Why did I say that? He was a really nice person. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't like the typical believer that we talked to.
Yeah.
So we had a really good conversation from a place of both of us agreeing in some places and disagreeing, but
Yeah.
disagreeing civilly. So it was a very valuable
It was a good
conversation.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. But he said that he was like, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know if it was my lies that got me the job or if it was God." And I said, the very fact that you're saying you don't
Don't know.
know
It's wild. Yeah.
exactly, and you're just choosing to put credit to this God because it was something good that happened in your life. And he's like, "I'm not doing that." I said, "Well, how did you get the job because you lied or did you get the job because you prayed?" I don't know. Exactly.
Right.
And so this feels like the same,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't say that this was Yahweh's plan and Yahweh's not involved in this. This is all human agency. And then later you just see Yahweh being given credit or taking credit.
This remind me of that Kendrick Lamar song that came out in the battle. He was like, "You lied about your age. You lied about your daughter. You lied about this." He's
Yes.
like, "Yeah,
Song is about Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of that that goes on. Yeah. These little tropes just keep happening. They just keep happening.
That's very interesting. Every time we do a live, I go, and I'm so glad TikTok's back now because now I don't have to worry about whether I can like pose this question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like I've got to have this conversation.
No, I think it's a good. I think it's a worthy conversation to have. Yeah, and I'm glad TikTok is back so we can have it there. But I
Yeah.
think it's a really good conversation to have. Yeah, because how
Mhm.
do it's impossible for an outside person to know the difference. Like if you say God told you something, and if you thought it up yourself, there is no distinguishable difference
It,
between something you made up and something God told you.
yeah. And then I know the average believer will be like, well, it's the word of God. God told the writer that he told Joseph that. Like, I know that that's what they're going to
Yeah, but
say.
how do you know that? Yeah, like
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
there's no way to distinguish that that's the word of God. Yeah,
Hmm.
not one that I can think of. Like, how would I know that this didn't just something you thought up?
But it's probably always something they just thought up.
I
Not probably,
mean,
like,
if you're asking me, yeah.
yeah. Oh, it was something else that I saw that said that the sheaves were an anachronism here because
Okay,
at this time they were pastoralists. Sheaves were associated with more developed agriculturalists.
okay,
And so this they said that this would be like a looking back
yeah,
and like writing in, the future events of what happened in Egypt and the success of Israel. So the very mention of agricultural concepts at this time when they would have been pastoralists and not farmers
yeah,
is
anachronistic.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
yeah, I mean, of course you're gonna find it because I mean, keep in mind you writing this 700 years post. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
maybe you kind of looking back 800 years ago and going, oh yeah, it went like this. Okay, whatever.
And then I think the fact that he dreamt of the sun, the moon, and the stars, it reminded me of the fact that Abraham was he came from the land of Chaldea, which is known for astrology and astronomers. And the reason why, he left that was because he was supposed to no longer worship those things or
Yeah,
see those things as divine because now it's a different God, right?
yeah,
And here we have it written. It just makes me wonder if the dream of that Joseph has, and he's mentioning the sun, the moon, and the stars bowing down to him. Is he saying that the kings of the earth, the divine, the other gods, their people, the other nations and their gods are going to bow down to Joseph and
Hmm.
his God, right? Like this, it makes me think about the whole Babylon. They used they uh the planets, right? Or each nation was assigned a planet, right? And
hmm.
Babylon was Venus,
Venus, yeah.
and Venus ended up becoming Lucifer,
Hmm.
becoming, it just makes me wonder if that has something to do with their influence in Babylon. Like when they were living in Babylon and they started worshiping the Babylonian gods, they were influenced by astrology and astronomy. Like I feel like that influence is there in just that dream. You know what I'm saying?
Could very well be. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it can be hard to denote it that way, but I mean, you got to imagine that those influences don't just disappear,
Hmm.
right? Like they show themselves some kind of way. Sometimes it can be hard to distinguish, but that's not far fetched.
Yeah. I was just wondering that because I know just thinking when I was reading the book, How to Read the Bible,
Hmm.
and they were talking about Abraham coming from Ur and that he was an astrologer. Like the Jewish tradition is that he was an astrologer in Ur and he left that for this God.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what made me think about that.
I see that.
Yeah. But yep. It is 1 o'clock. Do you have anything else? That
That'll
was
do
a
it for
good
me.
show.
This was fun. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, good show. Y'all, we are at 1,100 subscribers. Thank y'all so much for helping us get there. And we just keep on climbing and climbing and climbing. But we will see y'all on TikTok later on tonight. And
Yeah.
Dash, Mike, I don't know, you going live? since it's live.
I might just to celebrate the fact that it's up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna go get myself cleaned up and stuff, but yeah, I might go all live in a minute.
All right. I'll see y'all later. Thank y'all so much. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and share verses and vibes with Thinker and Bass with your favorite Christian. Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.